Hello, my name is Rab. This is my new video about void missions. Today I'm going to choose a extermination mission. I'll go with Saryn. My primary weapon will be the Synapse. I have 3 builds. But I'll go with the weaker one. Some people say this is a waste. Use the ammo mutation in this weapon. Well, we have different opinions, but I think this weapon, after a certain point in the game, only work with this card, because the ammo refiller, it's useful in normal weapons, in normal missions if you have teammates, because someone can cover you for you to refill the ammo. But survival, endless defense, you don't have time to refill. After some point you don't have time to refill ammo. But this is choices. I don't criticize. I can go, if I want a fully critical build, I use this. I remove this card and put the critical damage here, because there's no more card to put here besides this one, and I can put this one. I still have critical damage, status chance, and critical chance. So I don't think it's a waste, but I'm not going to discuss that. I'll go with this build. This is what the new damage system bring to the table. You are free to build your weapons. As you see, I have lots of elemental damage, so that mod card or other one in there, since the Synapse doesn't have physical damage, I can put there instead of putting a critical damage to boost a already high critical chance and critical damage this weapon have. In a Void Tower 3 Extermination, I think it's not important. It's important if you go further in the game, when you are dealing with very high level enemies. But my secondary weapon will be the Bronco Prime. I'm still leveling, and it's still not ready for the build I want to put in here, but I think it's enough to do this mission. I'm playing with Dakra Prime as my secondary, sorry, as my melee weapon. I don't use melee much because I think melee in this game need a rework. So sometimes it's fun to use, but depend on it, it's not properly balanced. My machine rifle in my Sentinel will also be corrosive damage. It's always corrosive damage. My primary damage to go to void missions, it's always corrosive damage. The only damage I change is in my secondary. My secondary have blast damage. Sometimes I go with magnetic damage. It depends from the mission, but my primary is always oriented to corrosive damage. Okay, let's do. Oh, I only have two keys from Exterminate. I have to go far more. I agree that the clan research refillers is very useful to refill ammo, but usually when playing with a team, because I sometimes in other videos you already saw that it's very hard to refill ammo when are in missions of defending a point, because the enemies keep coming at you, and sometimes if you are not a frost that you have the snow globe to protect you, to refill ammo is very hard. So in these weapons like Synapse, Soma, and ammo that consumes weapons that consume ammo very often, I usually use the ammo mutation mode, but it's your option. I think everyone should build their weapons accordingly to their playstyles. So I don't think there's such a perfect build. Even in this damage, the weapons are very powerful if the mods are fully maxed. So I don't think it is important or if you use a ammo mutation or you don't use a ammo mutation, you still have lots of damage in the weapons. As you see, these enemies seems like a Tower 1 enemies. You press and they go down very easily. I think that kind of choice, it's only applicable when you are with friends and let's go do a handless defense mission, and you go to very high level enemies. At that point, I think the build, it's important. Yes, maybe if I was with friends doing a handless defense mission, I would have choose the critical build, the full critical build for this weapon, because at some point, whoa, criticals help deal with tougher enemies. So but in normal missions I don't think that is really important, but Saryn needs to be rebalanced, because this change for the new damage system made her very one faction oriented. So and you feel that even when playing in pugs, I usually in the old system I usually saw lots of Saryns playing. Now you see very few. People are not satisfied with their performance in the new damage, and I think they are right. She definitely needs some tweaks, because she only deals poison damage in their abilities. Oh, it's downstairs. They still do damage, but not not the damage, but doesn't do the same damage to all factions. So if you rely on your abilities, it falls very short. Oh, I left an enemy behind. I think this is very annoying, because the game should have informed you before you move forward, and he put the the red marker here, I go further, and then when I'm very far, the game points behind saying that I left the enemy behind. So I was talking about the ammo mutation. Yeah, okay. I usually use the ammo mutation more. It depends. If it is a Synapse or a Soma, I use the ammo mutation. Why? Because that weapons already have high critical, so I can put the 2 critical chance and critical mods in there, and I still have a slot to put the ammo mutation mod. It prevents me a lot of complicated situations in game, but if I decide not to use the ammo mutation is when I have a secondary weapon that I bring for that method, because that way I can switch between my primary and my secondary. So an ammo mutation mod is a useless thing to bring in a weapon. But if I ever have a weapon like the Bronco Prime now that I'm still leveling, I bring the ammo mutation. Why? Because I cannot rely on my secondary weapon. I'm gonna use it now. It still does an average damage because it's still leveling, it's not fully modded, and this is a Tower 3 mission. So the enemies are tougher. Now, because I'm dealing with one at a time, I don't have an issue, but if I get surrounded by enemies, this weapon won't help me deal with the situation. So that way I always bring the ammo mutation. For me, if I need this, my primary weapon, I always have ammo to do so. Of course, if I hide here, I can use the refiller. It's true, but that requires me to stay in one place, and I have to stay here, and I need time for that. The only difference I think the ammo mutation brings to the table is let you continue your gameplay without having to stop and refill. But this is all about taste. I don't think it's a must, but I also don't think that is a waste of a mod slot. You have more than enough damage to deal with any enemy in this mission, and maybe your damage only comes flat if you go to endless survival or endless defense missions, so which is not the case here. Mod. Wow. Oh, 2 mods. In the last few days I wasn't able to find mods in here, so that's why I was joking around. Do you guys see that my numbers were all yellow? and I only have a critical damage in the snaps. This is because the weapon already have a high critical, so using point strike, yes, helps, but I don't think it's a must. And you have 3 builds in each weapon, so you can build 3 different builds and see the actual difference in gameplay. And to not be misunderstood, I'm not saying that it's not different. It is. The difference is not enough to be a must. So that is what I'm trying to say, that the difference is not to make it a must-have mod. And if I now going to, if I make this mission with my C build in this weapon, you guys would see that it's not a big difference from that build for this one. Okay, this is an easy mission.
Another job well executed.
Oh, form a blueprint.